Esports. Let's go.
Thank you so much, Desk and Danny Grathan, fan for life. Lim, certainly one of the Preds of all time. They are going to certainly have fun, but maybe fun and a victory is going to be a challenge against the Toronto Defiant. Still, I think Redbird Esports have plenty to show moving into this next round. What is maybe not a grudge match, but certainly a bit of a personal match between these two rosters.
Oh, it's totally personal. I mean, let's talk about the history of Redbird Esports for just a little bit while we're getting ready for this match. This is a collegiate team that has been at the top of the NA leaderboards for a long time, and they've had a lot of successful players come from that school, a few of which are on the Toronto Defiant right now. We've got Sam, we also have Ultraviolet that came from this team, and other superstars across the Overwatch League in terms of Lucamino, Hydron, Reiner. So a lot of fantastic talent coming out of this team, and so we're hopeful for the future of these players on Redbird Esports, but also who's going to get the better of them, the students or the graduates?
Yeah, the graduates, simply old men. The future is now, grandfather. Remember, if you've enjoyed the shows from our contenders teams in the Pro-Am, you'll be able to catch a bunch of contenders broadcasts this year over on the Overwatch Contenders YouTube channel, so make sure that you follow that. And yeah, Redbird Esports, based out of Illinois. Their fans are ready to make some Illinois to cheer them towards the end. Toronto Defiant bringing out Speedly on the signature pick of the Speedly Echo.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we're seeing this look come out from the Toronto Defiant, I think that maybe there was all smiles and rainbows in the chat, but both of these teams are definitely taking it seriously, at least for this first map, to see whether or not they can test the waters, and if there is a chance that Redbird Esports can get the W here. Speedily is coming out right into the gates there, hot with that Echo pick. Kaluj as well to be able to follow up with those dives with Winston. Who's going to get the first blood?
Renko falling low, not hit by the beam of Speedly though, who's now actually been a touch isolated. Flight in a second will allow him to escape the clutches of Grathan should he go a little bit too deep. And there it is. Fast healing coming through. OG's well on top of it when it comes to making sure Speedly is always primed and ready for battle. At the moment though, Redbird already have their first control.
Yep, it's going to be a quick capture there from Redbird as we're going to see Toronto Defiant get poised for another dive here. But I love this Sombra pick coming out from Vision. Vision already showing off those prime hit scan mechanics there with the Cassidy earlier on today. But this Sombra shows off a little bit more flexibility from this player's kit. Really helps to enable some of these tracer duels, maybe even being able to keep Speedily in check.
Oh, Deco taken down by the focusing beam. And now with a translocator gone as well. Vision's going to be caught up the creek without a paddle. Unfortunately, Renko being able to TP away, not far enough, simply behind Kaluj, who turns around, nothing personnel kid, and zaps him to death.
Oh, those Tesla cannons are going to be going absolutely wild here as we see Kaluj even getting ready to throw some hands. Primal Rage now coming online. Ultraviolet can be able to pepper in that last little bit of ultimate charge there with the nano boost to help amplify that damage. Hydron as well, I mean, has been getting a lot of quick work of the backline here in Redbird, but whoa, what's this? Ultraviolet's getting dove!
Preemptive counter dive though there from Kaluj, well executed. And you know what, Renko might not even have a TP. They all in to try and kill Ultraviolet, but unfortunately it was UVB and someone forgot their sunscreen, so we're moving out of this one. Burned, Rose.
Oh, they are burned indeed. I mean, look at this one. Ultraviolet not only getting a chance to get the healing coming in from OG, but also a lot of quick pivots there from the rest of the Toronto Defiant to be able to keep Ultraviolet up and running. But Redbird Esports, I mean, this is the difficulty here running the Kiriko and the Ana. You don't necessarily have a defensive ultimate here to be able to withstand the EMP that's on the table here from Vision.
Oh, lovely stick there. Gets rid of Kaluj, but in the meantime, Renko's fallen down. Only Deco going to be available for the healing, and that means that Grathan has to dodge away to pick up the Mega Health Pack instead. The EMP, yes, is ready, but with such a sparsely populated composition, you're going to have to settle for grabbing only one or two players. OG commandeers the re-engagement here, utilizing the Kitsune Rush, and Gig trying to do a little bit of peeling with those Primal Fists of Fury. Kaluj in the crosshairs, but Gig simply can't decide where he wants to go. They're not in control, and they're not in control of the Winston right now. Gig's actually left after getting Suzu'd. Maybe a missed call. Renko may not have said that, hey, I've got you, buddy, you can stay on in here as we move into what could be the final fight. Vision's gone for the solo EMP onto Ultraviolet. It takes away the health pack, yes, and this takes away the main healer from Toronto Defiant. Still, Redbird Esports, a mountain to climb, and that mountain is going to be pockmarked with some fists sent there by the Gorillas. A nicely placed sound barrier will keep Gig alive for about a moment, but Kaluj still is able to beat his counterpart to death and return to the point.
Looks like it's going to be overtime here as Redbird Esports still has yet to be able to get the flip. As Gig goes down as well, you're missing the frontline presence here. And now Vision not able to help the team as he's going to be eliminated as well. Oh, unfortunately, Grethen also not quite enough to be able to get the clutch with that pulse bomb. And his own existence on this point as well. I mean, leg day, it still was a pretty good go of things in terms of the team fights, but I feel like Toronto Defiant at every turn had an answer for everything that Redbird Esports threw at them.
Yeah, Grethen got 2 with that pulse bomb.
Yeah. It was like a little parting gift, at least to be able to say that's under his belt now.
Yeah, I do wonder if Deco has the Kiriko in their own hero pool. I feel like in some of these matchups, like the value that's being extracted from Ilios can be a little bit lessened. Kaluj is being controlled at least by Deco, making sure that he can't hit that leap damage, which is so important to executing a properly conducted dive. Speedy likely to return to the Echo, and OG's now playing on the Brigitte. It's going to be great for controlling Gig because you can hit those whip shots midway through the leaps to send him reeling back.
Yeah, I think the other thing that Brigitte also really provides is just a little bit of amplified pressure there from Hydron versus Grethen and the Tracer versus Tracer. You've got those armor packs from OG that can be really helpful here, just to make sure that you're able to shore that up.
Target focus sublime here from a Toronto Defiant, really going through the motions and flexing over those comms. No need to use the focusing beam. I think that I've done enough here. Speedly's actually going to do a little bit of scouting early on, try and get some information so that the remainder of Toronto Defiant can counter position in the best of ways.
Yeah, at this point too, I think that when you see the way that like Hydron is trying to approach this next engagement, Kaluj is able to keep control of this high ground. There's a lot of really nice angles that you can see Toronto Defiant trying to take as Redbird Esports trying to make their way in here. The Ash is nice because of the dynamite damage, but you really going to be able to control these Winstons? Oh, okay.
Oh,
well,
Vision
the
says,
answer.
Kaluj, you may have got the diploma, but I've turned you into an aerial roamer. Shoots him out of the sky. The skeet shoot is strong, and now Speedly can't get his way onto a point either. Vision providing overwatching fire that keeps anyone away from contesting that, and Redbird will get their flip.
Ooh.
I see you.
Yeah, Vision sees that, and Vision's gonna take full advantage of speedily poking his head out from behind the lighthouse. I mean, this is a great look here for Redbird Esports. They get the flip right underneath the noses of Toronto Defiant. They're able to go into this next engagement here with the Kitsune Rush as well as the Pulse Bomb. There's a lot of damage on the board here, especially for heroes. They're able to dish out the damage pretty fast. That Kitsune Rush can be really helpful here, but now you have to withstand without Deco.
Ooh. Bad call from Ultraviolet, sticks himself in the corner with the Pulse Bomb. That means no major healing source available for the side of Toronto Defiant. Still, Grethen needs one as well, and Kalush is camping that pack. Maybe a slightly balked jump right there. It's okay, happens to the best of us. What it does do, though, is give a little bit of shield cover over to Hydron, who can damage from anyone who dares to come over to the point. Toronto Defiant, in the midst of all of this, have managed to flip over control. Kalush so low, and there's the finish coming through from Vision. And the flip in tandem as well. I mean, the Toronto Defiant might have to call this one curtains for now.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to. I mean, they got to back off here. Otherwise, they run the risk of running into something like the Primal, getting staggered. There's a sound barrier now in the back pocket of Redbird Esports for when you have to contest with the rally that OG has at the ready here for Toronto Defiant. But this is a better look for them. I mean, Kalush gets another big pick here, but Redbird Esports were able to turn this around despite not having Deco in that last fight.
Renko, up close and personal when it comes to these, might well be able to cleanse this sleep onto Gig. And now, a big dive from Speedly. Excellent tracking with the focusing beam. Removes the main DPS threat that is Vision. Still, Deco thinks 3 is more than enough. Lays down the sound barrier to keep everyone kicking and alive. Gig, beam down. Surely no. Turns the corner, picks up the Mega. Speedly is evaded. And Renko's going to be just as lucky due to the Deco peel. Redbird so close to a flip over here, and Kaluch is simply going to have to sacrifice his life to a big red gold in the sky.
Yeah, I mean, Deco Peel, Deco Sound Barrier. What else you want to give the accolades to this player? Because that Lucio, even though it got taken out really early in that last fight, was still able to come in and help maneuver the team to be able to take that fight. So the last fight territory here, like Redbird Esports could do it, especially with that stick.
No stick required, you just got to confuse Ultraviolet. His vision's based on movement, and the pulse bomb is still. Vision's got the Overwatch, yes, but no one dares to peek apart from Kaluch, who's got the health bar to make it work. So now you have the flip come through, and Ultraviolet might even be well suited to swapping over to Kiriko to come back a touch faster. Still, the pressure not there from Redbird Esports, and Ultraviolet can slowly maneuver his way back over to this fight. Only one's required, though, for Redbird Esports to bring themselves back into this map. A bomb to open, a dynamite as a souffle of a dessert afterwards, and now moving forward with the addition of the Kitsune Rush. Surely they'll be able to flip this one over with so many on the point. Vision is picked up by Speedly in the midst of all this. You were so busy thinking about the point that you forgot about your hit scan legend in the back. Renko, the wall climb, no! It's okay, the teleport's in the back pocket. We don't have ourselves a Twilight scenario, and it's not the Twilight of Redbird yet. Still, the sun is setting on the Illinoisian Empire as Hydron begins to pick apart all who would dare show their face on these beautiful Grecian Isles.
Oh my goodness, it's getting so close and down to the wire here. Gig's gonna have to go in for a last-second touch. Deco's not able to get back to the point to be able to get that sound barrier online in the rally. This might be the nail in the coffin, Leg Day.
Gig pops the Primal Rage, manages to get Ultraviolet 91 HP. He's hanging on by a thread, but OG's hanging on by nothing at all. Can someone touch the point? Yes, it's Grafton with no HP to their name. And next comes in the Translocator. It's not the April Fool's patch, and Vision might be feeling a touch foolish as Kaluch stomps into the earth. But there was nothing else to be done. It had to be this way. It was always going to be a mad rush. But in the end, Toronto Defiant, with sweat on their brow, will claim Ilios.
Oh my goodness, what a competitive second round though. And like I've got to call out the brilliance of that Ashe pick there from Vision. That was perfect to be able to have the counterplay against the dive that we ended up seeing come out from Toronto Defiant, the coach gun to be able to push back the Winston. We saw excellent examples of that, just so that Vision had complete control of that high ground and all of those sidelines onto the enemy team. So really great way to keep themselves competitive in that first map.
Yeah, I'm truly impressed with what Redbird Esports managed to do with the combination of the Lucio Boops and the Ashe coach guns. They managed to keep Kaluj at bay, but they did not stop the overall tide of Toronto Defiant. And well, that tide continues to move in and out as we head towards our second map, coming your way after this break. Storm clouds have cleared and revealed a god of thunder. Straight from Saudi Arabia, Samajed steps to the Toronto Defiant to replace OG for our hybrid map, Rose. And, well, I think we can assume that Samajed's likely going to be playing his signature aggressive feedy style with a character that's a bit more forgiving of it.
Yes, definitely. I mean, hey, I think one person might say feed, another person may say big brain strategy, and I'm on the latter part of that train, I think, where I feel like Samajed ended up really showing up in such a big way last season and really solidified himself as one of the best flex supports in the meta. So I can't wait to see exactly how he's going to end up approaching this particular matchup, because, like Day, despite the fact that we might have seen some banter in the chat earlier on before this match happened, these two teams are taking this very seriously, and there's a lot of respect being shown to both of these teams.
I don't think there's a bigger accolade for an off-tank hero pool than Kaluj asking for Moving Fish to come in so they can be given the Sigma mirror. Because Kaluj considers himself the best Sigma in the league, and you know what? It might well be an accurate take. So Moving Fish being considered close enough for the Sigma mirror, I think is a big vote of confidence from one of our now, I guess, more senior players, second year in the league for Kaluj, but already a mainstay. And playing the D.Va here is a fantastic pickup against the Gig Winston. You can really bully a Winston around by using that D.Va, as well as have some excellent peel for a far more, let's say, stationary support in Ultraviolet, who has been a victim of multiple Grath and Pulse Bombs, so maybe easier to just eat those instead of dodge them.
I think so. I hope that Kaluj can play a little bit of Hungry Hippo here today, because those Pulse Bombs have been able to nab a couple of players now in the backline for all of the matches that we've seen so far. But I think the other thing that Kaluj's D.Va really provides to this one is not only the peel, not only the ability to contest with the Winston, but also to be able to shut down a lot of this damage coming in from Renko's Kiriko. You don't want those kunai to be able to hit their shots.
Beautiful speedy rotation here from Redbird. It has caught Toronto off guard. Toronto was simply not quick enough to move away from the Redbird Esports maneuver through that underside with a mega pack. Yes, Gig doesn't have too much in the way of health here, and Hydron's going to be able to finish this. So it's anybody's game, really, as Kalu just been able to pick up Deco elsewhere. Where is Renko is the question. Perhaps returning from spawn, yes, but the TP should be forthcoming soon. Gotta dodge that focusing beam, and so Vision will leave the point. No tick given over, and this should give Toronto Defiant some much-needed breathing room after an early shellacking at the hands of Redbird.
Absolutely. I love that you called that out. Maybe Toronto getting a little bit caught by surprise there, but they were able to make such a quick adjustment to deny Redbird Esports any percentage of progress onto that first point. Vision, though, getting a nice hack here does draw the attention away of the backline of Toronto Defiant, but give me a quick peel.
Hey, here we go again. Same story, different map, baby. Ultraviolet destroyed by the Grath and Pulse Bomb. No Suzu, no E. Vision tries his luck against the self-destructive course teleport away at just the right moment, as Grath now needs to be given a brand new fresh target. Suzu hits the ground, grabs a moment of invulnerability, as there is still going to be a little bit more pressure on the point. Vision can re-enter here with the EMP. Do Toronto Defiant dare to cloister together closely enough to all have their abilities and health stripped away? Vision's feeling lucky, and there it goes. Two are going to be hit, and Speedily is instantly rebuffed with the Nano, giving over a touch more in terms of the damage reduction. Hydron found isolated on the point, and Renko does manage to just about escape by the skin of their teeth. Speedily, public enemy number one, but Ultraviolet seals are well placed. An anti-nade onto Gig. No worries, mate. I've got a sound barrier. I've got like 1 billion hit points, and even more now with the Primal Rage 2. Speedily an airborne target, and Gig's the anti-air missile. He's for Sam's system, baby. But Sam's not going to be subbed in for this one. Samajed instead was the sub, and he's been taken away. Speedily. Pulse Bomb, back pocket. That was a bit of a limp throw, if you ask me. Daddy's not going to be very happy with that one. The catch game has gone unnoticed. Asuzu stops the Pulse Bomb from being able to claim any lives, but Hydron doesn't need no Pulse Bombs. It's an elaborate distraction, a Houdini play to make sure that Deco was looking in the wrong way while the Pulse Pistols managed to find the back of his skull. 2 ticks are all that can be claimed, Rose.
Oh my goodness. I really thought that that whole point was going to end up going over Redbird Esports there, but a big play coming up from the Toronto Defiant to be able to deny that third and final tick. Redbird Esports, though, I mean, Gig's Primal Rage got a lot of ultimates out of the pockets of the Toronto Defiant. You saw the Kitsune Rush get laid down. Even at the tail end of things, Speedily feeling forced to use the duplicate in order to keep the contest alive. But now we're entering into 30-second territory. Like Day, this is going to be the final attempt here. Vision has another EMP online, and he's got his targets in sight.
Faked rotation. It's forced Ultraviolet into this much more diveable area. There's the EMP. Takes away the health of Suzu's not fast enough. They took away Samarjan's abilities. Let this man, Suzu! Kaluj now with the self-destruct. You know that in this tiny room it's going to be brutal, so everyone needs to move away ASAP. Speedily now with a chase down onto Vision. I heard you got a little bit ego on my friends, my guy, and so now I must tear them asunder. And Speedily surely will be destroying all who move through his path. Toronto Defiant, a masterclass in defense, a stalwart bastion here on Blizzard World Point A. I'm afraid you don't reach the height limit, son. You cannot get on this ride.
You shall not pass. I mean, Toronto Defiant at this point have a little bit of pride on the line here, right? They can't let the students outclass the masters at this point. So they are going to be able to get the full hold here on Blizzard World. But now that we're switching sides, I mean, can Redbird Esports pull anything out of the pocket that might be able to throw a loop into Toronto Defiant's game plan? I mean, that's the biggest thing, right? Like, Day, you know, maybe do we see some silliness here for the defense?
Oh, maybe some silliness, maybe some speed. Let's have a quick look at Speedily cleaning up the dive from Redbird Esports here using the Echo. Dodging the pulse bomb, perfectly done, and then finding both of those flankers on the offside. Oh, that's a beautiful triple dink there from Speedily. This guy's mechanics, I don't think we saw enough of them on Atlanta last year. Obviously, had a little bit of growing up to do from the beginning of the season. Wasn't a full-time member. But now, Toronto Defiant Speedily is a mainstay, and staying he shall be in the minds of every OWL viewer as a reason to fear Toronto Defiant when they go up against your favorite team.
I mean, what can Speedily has been able to show? Not only does he have so much competitive prowess on the Echo, but can also flex over to a few other heroes. If the going gets a little bit tougher, the Echo might not be able to get the same type of success. But this might be a fast one. Like, it's already going to be a quick teleport out of spawn there with a Symmetra before going back over to the Tracer, and they're approaching point very quickly.
Pressure early and often. Vision already doing a little bit of spying here, gathering the information, making sure that Grafnow's the optimal pathing. What a dive! 3 players instantly collapse onto Speedily. He doesn't even know what hit him. You might be able to fly, but my mate, you did not even get off the tarmac.
No, we didn't. I mean, do we even see a landing, though, at this point, either by some of these players? There's just the continued onslaught here. I feel like Toronto Defiant are playing this one maybe a little bit too fast and too quick, where they really want to try to get a reset here, but also I feel like Redbird Esports, they might have just gone into the fly trap.
Oh, it's ugly. It's real ugly. Kaluj wanted a Sigma 1v1, but unfortunately all he's going to be offered here is dominance on the Diva. Yes, there's time here to try and manufacture a re-contest from Redbird Esports. This is their last chance in the Overwatch League Pro-Am. The Vision! What are you? Toronto Defiant win! Smile.
Yeah. I thought Vision was gonna go for it. Maybe like the translocator was offline or something. Maybe forgot that they didn't fully capture that first point. I don't know there. But regardless, what a great showing between these teams. It was such a pleasure to watch Redbird Esports go up against some of the best in the Overwatch League. And to all of our contenders teams like Day, it was such a treat to watch them all and performing here at the Pro-Am. I know that was maybe one of the more anticlimactic ways that match could have ended, but nonetheless, we had 2 fantastic weekends to be able to see these teams all battle it out.
Yeah, I share your enthusiasm for all of the contenders teams that we've seen at the Pro-Am. Some amazing talent that everyone's going to want to continue seeing. Remember to follow OW Path to Pro on Twitter so you can find out exactly where these teams are going to be showing off their mettle in the contenders broadcast. We've also got contenders Korea and Asia Pacific that you can check out going on pretty much simultaneously to this. However, in the here and now, we are going to have a player of the match eventually. I do believe it is going to be Hydron, and here is the stat card for the boy. Player of the match, a hit scan legend, and here going up against some of his alma mater.
Yeah, I mean, Hydron has just been able to put on such a masterclass. I feel like this break in between Overwatch League seasons has even allowed him to shine more as a player, especially when you counter in the synergy that exists here with Sir Majed. You also have just so many great pathings for this Tracer player. I don't know, like, I'm expecting some big things out of Hydron this year.
I think that Hydron definitely, alongside the rest of the Toronto Defiant, are they're going to be the best iteration of Toronto Defiant, right? Like, they have tried their best to build some piece-by-piece rosters using some amazing pickups, but eventually you just decide, you know what? I'm done frolicking in the wind. I wish for a tornado, an American tornado. And certainly one of those was presented. The pulse bomb attach rate of 71% is absolutely manic. Hydron, he's got some big shoes to fill if he's going to be the Tracer player for the Toronto Defiant in this league. Because, Rose, there are so many fantastic Tracers. We just saw Alpha Yi and Kevster go head-to-head. Legend tier Tracers. And Hydron is ready to stand among them in our bracket play next week.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about Tracers that can go off and do their own thing, be self-sustainable, try to hunt down a target on their own, but there's also a lot to be said about teams that have pre-existing synergy and being able to get that teamwork together that might help to be able to shore up, not necessarily a weakness, but to be able to approach the game from a different perspective and to still be able to get that Tracer buff. So I'm excited. I can't wait. What a fantastic day of matches.
It's been a wonderful way to culminate our group stages here at the Overwatch League Pro-Am, but no one could take you out in better style than our fantastic friends over at the desk.
Yo, it is us, Leg Day's friends, the desk.
Yay, we're friends, not co-workers. Thanks, Leg Day.
Love it. Thank you, Leg Day. Thank you, Necro, for bringing us all the action. It's been a long day with a lot of hype matches, but we have one more to break down as we're wrapping things up here in a round robin. Time just flew away from us, and we ended it all with Toronto going up against Redbird Esports. So let's have a look at some of the highlights of this very match. I mean, what was your big takeaway from this last series?
Well, I thought it was going to be a little loosey because between these two teams. Thought they were going to have some fun, but it really only seemed like Toronto had fun. Yeah, fun was had. It was only on the Toronto side, but I know. Look, Redbird Esports put up a pretty good fight in that first map, right? That was relatively close. Would have been great for them to touch the point here on Blizzard World, but ultimately, like, Toronto kind of had it like in their favor at that point. So really good showing from the Defiant on Redbird Esports. You know, made a good attempt here at the end, maybe try and steal one, just a little bit too short.
Speedly Echo, kind of nice.
Speedly Echo, kind of nice. Heard it here first. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of great pieces here we have on the Toronto Defiant squad, and I think that's what makes a lot of people very excited, moving not just into our bracket play, but also, of course, into the regular season. Now, Toronto Defiant will go up against the Boston Uprising as their first match in our bracket. Ooh. So that's going to be interesting. For now, let's take a look at our schedule and the groups so we know exactly what is going to happen next. As next weekend, we are getting ready for that bracket play after 2 weeks of our round robin group stage. So here's again today's schedule with the score, so you know exactly what went down in case you missed it. And if you want to go back and just watch one of those, I highly recommend Houston Outlaws and
there you go.
Esports. I think that one takes the cake, guys.
Best Pro-Am match, hands down.
For a second,
that was the best.
I was like, why didn't she say New York, Twisted Minds, or Gladiators Justice? And then I remembered that match. And yes, it is a must-watch.
Yeah, that one will go down in the history books for sure in our first 100%. Ever Pro-Am. Now, though, we gotta take a look once more at who is advancing. Mayhem and Shock take it in Group A. Group B was led by the Atlanta Reign. I was about to make a reigning supreme joke again, but I held back just for you guys. London Spitfire taking the second seed. You're welcome, Danny. Group C saw Boston Uprising and the LA Gladiators advancing. It was a close one, came down to the wire. It was almost the Washington Justice, but Gladiators won out in the end. And of course, Group D has the Houston Outlaws and the Toronto Defiant moving on into the bracket. So let's take a look at that bracket to know exactly who will be facing off against whom. I mean, this is the full picture, guys. These are the teams advancing. If we're looking at that bracket, there's some absolute bangers on tap for us next week. Danny, Matt, which matchups will deliver the hype, you think?
I think all of them are going to be good, but I think I'm really excited for Boston Uprising versus Toronto Defiant. You know, Toronto, Kaluj said that he's the best Sigma and Wrecking Ball. Boston, they got a great Winston player, Smurf. Is Kaluj going to be the best Winston against Smurf? I think that's an interesting question to be answered. But I think both teams, you know, they've shown some great plays. I think it's going to be a close match. I'm actually genuinely very excited for this match.
Yeah, and it's one where, look, Boston Uprising had a fantastic weekend. They play extremely aggressive. I believe that a team like Toronto can take advantage of that, right? Like, they're not going to be just kind of rolling through everybody. It'll be a real big test for Birdring. Everyone's like, oh, he's back to Season 1 form. It's like, oh, well, let's see it here against Toronto Defiant.
That's true, because he's going up against Hydron,
Hydron's a beast.
Yeah, he's
Hydron is a beast, and guess what? We do have him standing by for an interview with us, for a winner's interview, of course, after they just took the W in their last match in the group stages. And they will be facing off against the Boston Uprising. So that is a really, really big matchup coming our way. And it might be an uphill battle. But for now, we're going to say hi to Hydron. Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations.
Hello, thank you.
You are welcome. Let's dig into this. Actually, I want to look ahead and not look back. I do want to get your thoughts on the Boston Uprising. We've had a lot of great things to say, obviously, about the individual players, and we're wondering how they're coming together. What is your read on the Boston Uprising so far?
They're all right. They're cool. They got big names, but you know, with a team like that with a bunch of big names, kind of like all bark, no bite. So we'll see.
Ooh.
So you're hoping for an implosion of epic proportions there? It's a lot of egos on one team.
Yeah, we're looking for a smackdown. So
nice.
Oh, okay. Oh, you guys are ready. Hydron, I had a quick question about, you know, you're the player of the match for this matchup, and of course you got it with your Tracer play. I know you guys have so many great talents, and I know Speedly's a great Tracer as well. I just want to ask you, like, how do you guys decide who plays Tracer in your team?
Well, for now, Speed's the Tracer player, because most of the time Tracer's played, it's usually with the hit scan. So somebody needs to play hit scan. And so we kind of dedicated Speed for this season to be our Tracer player whenever we need to play Tracer. And I'll play like all the other hit scans and everything else.
Yeah, no, I mean, that sounds like a great plan. And I'm curious, you know, you guys seem to have a really fun kind of like banter, just vibe going around the team. What has it been like now being a part of the Toronto Defiant? What are you looking most forward to for the rest of the year?
It's been great. It's like, you know, it's 7 friends. It's pretty much like a frat house. So we always have a lot of fun. And yeah, I expect to win everything. I don't like losing, so I expect to win everything all the time. And yeah, because why would I want to lose?
Yeah.
I mean, you're making a really good point here.
Yeah.
Well, Hydron, we love the confidence. We loved what we saw so far from those 7 friends on the server, and we hope for big and great things to come in the future. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
And that was Hydron from the Toronto Defiant. Let's once more take a look at the bracket. Danny picked Uprising and Defiant as his match to look out for. But Matt, which one is going to get you hyped up, you think?
Houston Outlaws versus the San Francisco Shock. Who knows where the Shock are, where they will be playing from? I don't really care, quite frankly. I think it's going to be a sick matchup. Now, between just the amount of just like star players in this, you'll also get to see Violet go against the Shock. I think this one has a banger written all over it. Pelican against Proper. I mean, just across the board, just sick matchups. And I think we'll really see how good this Outlaws team is. Like, a lot of us expect this Outlaws team to be one of, if not the best in the league. And to see them play against a team who has been proven year in and year out to be that, you'll get a good kind of bar of where the Outlaws are early in the season.
And I mean, you can rest assured that there will be no question about whether or not the Shock will take this one serious, because you can make arguments about their approach going up against contenders teams and whatnot, but I would bet everything I have and everything I will ever have that Krusty will not allow them to. So, like, he will not stand for that.
And also remember Fearless saying that, they got some sick strategies up their sleeves for this matchup as well. So I think that's something to, keep an eye out as well.
Did he say 6 strategies?
He said they got some secret strategies,
Oh, secret, not sick. I was like, oh wow.
I mean, sick and secret?
Both.
There's some sick secret strategies coming our way. Love it. Absolutely love it. Now remember, of course, these teams are here to have fun, but you know what's fun? Money. That's right. We will have to wait until next week to see who is claiming 1st through 4th place, and we'll walk away with the big cash. But we are able to actually already announce the 1st and 2nd place pricing for our contenders teams. Now, due to tiebreakers, the top 2 contenders teams are actually tied for 1st. So the prize money for them will just be combined and split evenly. So each of those 2 teams will receive $500,000. $500,000, no, $5,000, not 500,000.
Oh, 500.
Never mind what I just said. 5,000. 5,000.
I gotta start playing. What am I doing?
And our top teams are, of course, Twisted Minds and Saints. So please give it up. Show a lot of love.
Let's go.
On socials. I mean, where it is sad that neither of them will actually be joining us for the bracket play, I think they both had some fantastic performances that we will, I will definitely continue to keep an eye out on them and cheer them on in contenders.
Yeah, no, it'll be awesome, I think, for people to be able to kind of follow some of these players throughout the rest of the year, follow some of these teams. And who knows? I mean, we may end up seeing some of these players in the league soon or someday.
Absolutely. Now, this brings us to one last thing. Last week, we did salute the contenders who caught our attention with their stellar place, and it's time again to pay homage to our top 10Ds. Danny, Matt, who you got?
I mean, I have to. We were just looking at Levda, but Levda has to be one of the players that we have to talk about. Like, his Pharah has been so impactful, even taking out, Houston Outlaws on one of the maps. Pelican thought that he could beat him, but he can't. But I mean, we just a chopper. We're seeing visions as well. Like, these hit scan players, of course, they didn't sometimes get the win, but they did definitely have a lot of impact, and they're just mechanically skilled as well. So I'm really excited to see more from them, in not only in contenders, but hopefully in the future in the Overwatch League as well.
Yeah, a few really strong DPS players, like you mentioned. I know Rocket, another one. A few players that we saw like in the league in the past actually had some really good performances. You see Naga and Kelix in the server here too. So a lot of really strong looks from some of these contenders players, which I think is ideally what you would have wanted to see, right? If you're on those teams and looking for a spot and playing against some of these owl level rosters.
Yeah, and I think that's something we definitely have to keep in mind as well, looking at all their performances. They did go up against OWL teams, and some of those matches were played really close. They made them sweat, and I think this was a first time we're doing a pro-am. It was a great opportunities for the OWL teams as well as for the Tier 2 teams, and I just hope to see much more of that in the future, because some of them definitely brought the entertainment as well, and I can't wait to see more of that. But this concludes the group stage of the Overwatch League Pro-Am tournament. Huge thanks, of course, to all the teams, everyone working behind the scenes,